Hi, Sandra Wilson here. I am a clinical hypnotherapist and I work with a condition called trichotillomania, which is hair pulling when you don't want to be hair pulling, but some part of you still carries on doing it even though you want to stop. And today's question is, why, when I can succeed in stopping pulling out eyelashes, that I move on to the hair on my head? And that was asked by somebody who follows me in another group, another social media group. So I did say that I would do a video about it. Now, if you've succeeded in pulling out your hair on one part of the body, so in this case the eyelashes, first up, congratulations, that shows that you can do it. It shows that you may have employed methods or strategies to help you to stop, and you did it. Most people tend to rely on willpower or distraction, but they soon find that after a period of time the willpower runs dry and the distractions aren't enough, and then they move to a different part of the body. So in this case, the hair from your head. So what's going on here? Especially if you have struggled with many, periods of starting and stopping, often it's because you aren't tackling the real problem, what's going on beneath the surface level of your conscious awareness. And it's different for different people. So sometimes, the urge, the pulling urge could be a response to anxiety. So it is, in that sense, a coping mechanism. And many people say that by pulling their hair out, it really does feel quite soothing. And this is kind of what keeps it going. It feels good. It helps you to be fully present, and it can trigger a release of a neurotransmitter called dopamine, which is strongly associated with pleasure and reward. So if you manage to tackle the pulling on one part of the body, if you're not tackling what your brain really considers the problem to be at that subconscious level, it's going to carry on doing it because it doesn't have any, kind of interest in stopping because it's benefiting in some way. So when you think about your life as a whole, so things that are making you anxious, what are you doing to deal with that anxiety? If you look at situations in your life that are challenging, what are you doing to help yourself to believe that you can cope better with those things? And it doesn't necessarily always mean it's anxiety, it could be something else. And commonly we can sometimes, do these subconscious repetitive behaviours as a way of reassuring ourselves when there are so many things beyond our control. And oftentimes that feeling of not having any control can lead to a lot of anxiety in the part of the brain that's related to survival. So by the pulling, you're creating something that gives the brain a semblance of control, even though ironically pulling itself can be very hard to control. So I hope that makes sense. And finally, if you might have a type of brain that is maybe neurodivergent, if you have some kind of disorder like ADHD or ASD, then oftentimes pulling can be a form of stimming. So it helps you to self-soothe and be in the moment, and often it's a part of zoning out, which is very common with people with ADHD. So these are just a few scenarios where the urge to pull can't be necessarily cured by willpower alone. And if you do succeed in pulling in one area, you move on to another, chances are you have not really dealt with the real problem. And sometimes it can be hard to figure out quite what the real problem is, which is where hypnotherapy can be very helpful. So in the interests of keeping this video nice and short, I'm going to leave it here, but if you are interested in having a chat with me, or if you'd like to make contact, please do click on the links, DM me, and I'll be happy to have a little chat with you. Bye for now.